Bodybuilding show back on location at PT by Joe, the prestigious training studio here in Scottsdale. If you haven't heard of PT by Joe, where has he been living his whole life?
Oh my God, it's the best.
It's
right
the best.
Let's see, Miller and McDowell. Miller and McDowell.
Miller and McDowell. It's kind of hard to find. If you Google it, you might want to call down here because I went to like 3 different locations before I got here. But dude, I'm so stoked to have an IFBB pro as my special guest host today. Stephen Fiore in the house here at PT by Joe. Just got his pro card. You share the same show with our next guest.
Yes, ironically enough, the journey was about a year ago to this weekend, and our next guest got her card the same time I did up in Pittsburgh at the North Americans back in August of last year.
What a hell of a
And she's already done a pro event, I think, in Sacramento, so she'll talk more on that too.
That's good. Well, a lot of you know her as TJ. But after she got her pro card at the North American, the IFBB lists her as Lisa Kelly, but she'll always be TJ to me. So without further ado, we have Lisa Kelly in the house. And I forgot the most important part, IFBB pro Lisa Kelly in the house here. And so TJ, Lisa Kelly, it's a big difference. How do you go from
Well, the
TJ
name
to
is
being...
Tajana Lisa Michelle Kelly. My mother couldn't figure out what she wanted to call me.
What is it again?
Tajana Lisa Michelle Kelly. So therefore, when I played softball in high school, my coach could not pronounce my name. I got TJ. It stuck. When I got my pro card, somehow my TJ, the nickname, they decided to ixnay that, and they just stuck it with Lisa Kelly.
Oh, okay. Okay. So, I mean, you're a figure skater? Is that true?
I was a figure skater. I played softball, did swimming, was always really involved in athletics when I was younger.
So were you a tomboy?
Quite.
I don't know about the viewers watching the episode right
Quite
now.
a tomboy.
When I look at Lisa Kelly, I'm thinking Barbie. I'm thinking, the last thing I'm thinking of is, a tomboy. You're a tomboy.
Quite a tomboy.
Wow.
Oh yeah.
Are you still a tomboy?
I think I have my moments, most definitely. Yeah, I think as I got a little bit older, I got a little bit more girly. I'd say probably when I hit my 20s. My son is 20 years old. Our daughter is 19. So it was a little bit after having my son that I kind of got to the girly phase.
Wow. Wow. Well, you're getting better with age.
Thank you very much.
You really
Very
are.
sweet of you.
Definitely. I like
My
it.
husband paid you to say that?
No,
So,
he
I like
didn't.
it.
He didn't, but it's true. It's true. Well, congratulations on all your success. Now, was this your first, when you got your pro card in North American? Was that your first national show?
No, it was not. I had also the year prior done North Americans and the USA.
Oh, okay. And how were those shows for you?
The USA is the year prior. I placed 13th, and then the North Americans, not so much. It was kind of a rude awakening for the year prior.
So because I was surprised because if you do the USA's and you're not just a number because it's everybody ties for 15th or whatever 16th, but you're 13th, so you're in that where okay they're looking at you, you got a second look, you're in the second call on or whatever, but then you go to North American and you're just a number.
Pretty much, yeah.
So what did that do to your psyche? Were you like, okay, I need to regroup, I need to talk to Joe and say, Joe, what did you do to me?
Definitely, no.
Did you blame everybody but
Of course
yourself?
not.
Because that's what I do. It can't be my fault.
It would have been nice to, but I definitely took a look at it and said, you know what, I need to go back to the drawing board because I've always been a taller, slender person, and I was always afraid of getting a little bit of that muscle. That was when I realized you need to clean, you just don't have to have some of that. Not a lot. You definitely need the shape. You can't just be tight and toned. So you definitely need to put on some shoulders. That was my biggest thing. That was where I was lacking the most. Was definitely somewhat in my upper body.
So that's what you did different though. For your contest prep, you're like, okay, I'm going to do more weight training. I want to put some delts on.
Yes.
Because normally, when bikini competitors, and Joe, jump in. I know you're filming, but jump in. I don't have all the experience that you guys have, but I've trained mostly bikini girls, competitors, I should say. And a few figure. And the figure, it's it's a full body workout. I mean, you're hitting your back twice a week, or you don't do a lot of chest because you're a girl. But when I train bikini girls, it's cardio, little circuit training in the upper body, and all leg work. Is that how yours is too?
To an extent. I can't do a lot of cardio until I get close to the show. Otherwise, I immediately
lean out too fast.
Lean out, and it's not a good look. And then by the time it comes for show, he's trying to fill me back out.
I don't know if I'm not really liking you. I'm not liking her right now because I can't do too much cardio because I lean out too fast.
The week before, that's all I did.
Yeah, just the week before.
I want to talk
No,
about it.
it's not that.
It's not fair.
Definitely a month before, I definitely have to. A lot of times when you start prepping for a show, you start about 3 months out or 2 months out for sure. And a lot of times it's when you start your cardio process, but I can't do it as much as I would like to, but I have a coach who goes, okay, what happens when you start doing that?
Right.
So,
Well, you coach, that's why I want to talk about posing. I come in every Sunday, I want to see you posing with all the other girls on Sunday. So something's going on, because when I saw you at the North Americans, what made me look at you, that I'm just being biased, you own the stage. I mean, everybody in this level is cut and tone and good looking and high heels and all that stuff, but you had that presence of owning the stage. What did you do with the posing that made you stand out so much from everybody else?
as I said, well, unfortunately, the hubby and I cannot pose together. I would love for him to pose me because he does a phenomenal job.
Why? I mean, everybody else he can pose, but he can't pose you. Why?
I'm a bit of a brat.
You're a bit of a brat.
When it comes to him and I posing together, I will follow his diet. I will follow the way he needs me to train. When it comes to posing, I get extremely particular and want to critique everything when I don't need to, because he knows what he's doing. He's phenomenal. That's why so many people come to him. But I think me being the wife, I feel like it's okay for me to go, that's not right.
You know what? I'm glad you said that, because my wife is going to watch this episode, and honey, you know I've tried posing you for these shows, and you don't want to talk to me. I don't know anything. But everybody else knows everything but me. So I guess I'm not alone. I guess it's kind of a natural thing.
No, yes.
Oh, good.
Fortunately or unfortunately, so therefore we have someone else who comes in, Melissa Rex, who you know. She's phenomenal.
Do you work with your posing too, or just bikini?
Actually, she does.
Yeah.
Yeah,
She does a little bit of everything. She's an amazing help to our team. And she works with me one-on-one. So I don't work with the girls on Sundays because I have joined in and started helping with the posing.
I was going to say, are you a trainer here
Yes.
as well?
No, I'm not a trainer, but I do help with the girls as far as I help them mentally when they're getting ready for a show, to take them through, okay, this is what you're going to start experiencing. This is what at this level, now you're about 4 months out, you're 2 months out, you're a week out. I do help with all the posing. I do the best that I can to just be the support. I am backstage with all of them to try to keep the sanity.
Well, you inspire them and you motivate them because you are the IFBB pro here in the studio. You're Joe's wife.
Which has been great. That's an amazing honor to be able to have.
Absolutely.
To be able to be a part of that and have other women say, you know what, this is something that I see that you've done and at your age, and I want to be able to do that. And to be able to be a part of that with everybody else's journey is really great.
So how did you decide, just rewind before you got into, obviously you're an athlete, you're a tomboy, you did all this stuff, and you knew Joe for years, and every time you ran into Joe, he says, when are we going to get you on stage? And you're like, hun, that's not for me, I'm not doing it. What made you decide to say, you know what, I will try this?
My girlfriend, basically, she talked me into it. She wanted to do a show, and I honestly knew nothing about it. I just knew it's a bikini thing. I don't know exactly what it is. Of course, I'd seen the magazines, saw the girls that were absolutely stunning. So wow, they look great, but just didn't really think about it. So she was wanting to get into the shows, and when she did, I said, look, I have a trainer you need to get. He's amazing. He'll help you through the process. This is who you do it. She went, saw him. Basically, he said, I will work a deal out with you, but you have to get her to do it.
So
So
Joe,
I get a phone call that, okay, I'm doing this, and now you're doing it too.
Really? So that's how it happened?
That's how it
I
happened.
want to ask Joe, I know he's filming, but Joe, did you have an ulterior motive? I mean, did you have a crush on this girl for years, or was it really, you need to do a show? I think there's a little bit of both going on. I don't know, though.
No, it started with the, yeah, I had a crush on her.
Okay. Just be honest.
You saw the potential.
Good, because I was going to challenge that answer. So you did you had your pro debut. What show was that?
North Americans.
You know,
Oh, no, I'm sorry, Sacramento.
Sacramento Pro, you got 4th.
I got 4th.
Pretty awesome.
It was definitely one of those where when I got called out, I was like, what?
Didn't you just feel like, wow, I belong there? I wasn't a fluke that I got my pro card. I'm in the first call out. I'm a contender.
Definitely
So
when that happened, because it still had not completely set in.
Yeah.
It still was one of those when somebody would say something or say congratulations, and I was still like, oh no, it's still. So when that happened, I definitely was like, you know what? I really can be here. I can compete with these girls. I can hold my own, and that was a really good feeling.
So when you're signing, one of your pictures for somebody, do you have to remember to put IFBB Pro?
I have to say that, and also I still get kind of stumped when someone even asks me for it, just because it's still is. I mean, it's an amazing feeling, and I'm just honored to be able to be there. I'm honored to compete with some of the girls that I've looked at and said, "Wow, they're so amazing," and to be able to be on that stage with them, it is something more than I could ever ask for.
So when you decided to embark on your first show, I'm going to imagine that you got into magazines or you went on YouTube and you looked at NPC Bikini or maybe IFBB. Was there a girl out there that you looked at?
She was always my favorite.
Who?
Amanda Latona.
Amanda Latona?
Always.
Right, good.
She always was, and I got to compete with her in Sacramento.
And how'd that turn out?
I mean, of course she won. You know, I mean, it's her, but it was very.
Is she doing the Olympics? She did the Olympics?
You know, she did.
She did the
She did.
Okay.
She did the Olympic. I think she placed 6th. I'm not correct, 6th or 7th. I know that she, she's had an amazing just journey on competing, and so she's an inspiration to a lot of people as far as being able to see what she's achieved.
So how about you being an IFBB Pro? Obviously, you're going to be competing when?
I'm hoping to do the Dallas Europa. I had a little bit of a setback, but we're back on track. So I'm hoping to definitely do that one and the Dennis James.
Oh, okay. Oh, good. May 31st.
Yep.
Good. So we'll have one of our homegrown athletes in there. Good. But outside of the competition stage, I mean, is there? You probably get a lot of opportunities to do photo shoots, or a lot of people, are coming to you. You're the big pro now, so I mean, you have a lot of opportunities that you're taking.
And we're taking it. We're just because I don't want to just get out there just to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, even in the steps of getting to where I'm at, everything has been done kind of at a slower pace, just because my husband didn't want to just push me out there, which I truly appreciate, because I mean, you just never know. Somebody can offer you something and you think it's great, and then it turns out not to be so great. So there is a couple things in the works that we're working on, but again, we're doing it on a slow process. We're doing it show by show to see where I go, where I fall, and then from there, knowing what direction to take me in.
Good. So do you have a sponsor right now?
We are working on sponsors. We have Inframin right now, which is a vitamin company. They're a new upcoming company. They sponsored me for the Sacramento show, which was phenomenal, and I couldn't appreciate them more. So with that, as far as this coming year, they will be one of my sponsors, and then we're going from there.
Oh, good. So what's the hardest part for you as a competitive bikini competitor? Now that you're on IFBB Pro, it's kind of a two-part question, I would imagine, and you too. You can answer the question too. You're an IFBB Pro. People are expecting you to look a certain way. They kind of want you to look like you did when you won your pro card. And so you have to you always are kind of expected to look good, be photo shoot ready all the time. That must be a huge challenge for you. But tell me about that a little bit.
It is a challenge, especially as I said, I had a little bit of a setback, so that definitely messes with you mentally a little bit. But as far as staying on that track to be in shape, now it's more of a lifestyle for me. Whereas before it wasn't. In the very beginning, it was like, oh God, I have to do this. This is what the process is. Now it just seems to come much more naturally. To know that I have to maintain being a certain way, and it's not that I want to be dieting all the time per se, but to be within 5 to 10 pounds at the most of where I need to be for my show.
Within striking distance.
Pretty much.
That's what I like to call it.
Is exactly where I like to stay right now. I'm much more comfortable being like that.
And how about you? You're an IFBB Pro. You're expected to look a certain way. Is that hard for you too?
It's the exact the same thing. You just want to stay 5 to 10 pounds, maybe a little bit more of where you are, and it's tough because you do have these kids that are coming here on Sundays posing with us and everything else, and Joe goes, well, there's the IFBB Pro.
Yeah.
These kids are 20 years younger than me and everything else, so you're right. They look at you as that's what I want, and you have something I want, and which actually creates healthy competition. That's one of the benefits of having so many different competitors and age groups and everybody else in the same bikini division is that now we do have two people that, both on the men's and the female side that everybody looks up to and says,
that's cool.
That's what I want.
It gives you a lot of credibility. Not that you didn't have the credibility already, but I mean, you have that hardware. Obviously, we got all kinds of hardware here with the IFBB Pro. And we were watching the last interview that we did, and with Jerry, and he was talking about Arnold Schwarzenegger and all of his training principles that he had. And one of my favorite things that Arnold used to use was a visualization process. I finally said that word right. And you know, if you can't visualize yourself, your body looking a certain way, you can't visualize yourself, see, winning or whatever, then you're not going to look like that, and you're not going to win. And so you did something with the visualization process before you win the pro card. What was that?
I wrote it down that I will win my pro card about 150, 200 times, and I left it in the room. And actually, I read it, I wrote it, I read it, I wrote it, read it, and then right before, most definitely believed it and said, you know what, I can do this. And then right before we walked out the door, I ripped it up and I put it on the counter and I said, okay, now if I achieve this, I'm gonna take it back together and I'm gonna put it with my trophy. And I achieved it, and now I still have the piece of paper and the trophy.
Oh, cool. That's a great story. So do you use any other, what inspires you? Obviously, you know, you're not writing lines every time you do a show. What do you do on a daily basis to, you know, get up out, I mean, for me, getting out of the bed at 4 in the morning and doing my cardio? I know you don't do a lot of cardio, and I hate you for that. But, you know, what is it to get out of bed and you know, on a daily basis, what's the fire inside that keeps you going?
Definitely, I mean, our company, you know, Petite by Joe, and again, being able to see people achieve their goals, being able to be a part of their journey and help them. That's a huge part of what we do.
It's a big part.
And
it's very rewarding,
by
right?
having that, it creates a lot as far as wanting to also be there, wanting to make sure that you still maintain where you need to be, because you in turn have become an inspiration to people, and by being an inspiration to people, it gives you drive.
Right. Great answer. Well, I want to ask you a question. I've never asked this question before, but it just kind of came to my head. So you competed on a regional level, you competed on the national stage, and now you've competed as a pro. What are the biggest change, you would say, the biggest difference, say from a regional show to a national show, and then getting up into that IFBB? What is it? I mean, what's the main difference? Obviously, the competition is going to be harder as you go up.
Oh, the competition, I mean, is fierce. You know, at that level, at a pro level, there's nobody coming in that necessarily needs to change anything. They're coming in exactly how they need to be. It's not a second thought. It's exactly.
Is that intimidating at all?
It was. I would have to say, for my Sacramento show, at first I definitely had to take a couple deep breaths and say, okay, I can do this. But then after doing it, the difference is, I think that at the national level, there's a lot of tension because you want that moment.
Sure.
That's what you want, and that's what everybody's going for. So you feel that intense tension and pressure, if you will. And then I think at the pro level, it's more, everybody's a little bit more friendly.
I was going to guess that.
The girls already have, you know, they've already achieved where they wanted to go to an extent. I mean, granted, you know, you still want to win your shows, but it's just a little bit different. The vibe is a little bit different. It's not quite as tense, which I thought it would be more intense, but it's really not, because everybody is a little bit more friendly.
What's the favorite show you ever did? Was it your pro show, your favorite show you ever did?
So far.
I know, lucky
So
guess.
far.
Who would have thought? And up to your end, what's the favorite show you ever done? North American when you got your pro card?
You know, I like the local shows. I like the local shows. It's close to home. It's close to the studio. You're more friends and family. Going out of town's pretty tough. It's finding that place to eat and finding the right food and getting the travel done and everything.
You got to get your 6-pack bag on, man.
Right?
Yeah,
that's.
You have a 6-pack bag?
Yes.
Of course you do. Good. So what else is going on with you these days?
Just right, like I said, I had a little bit of a setback. We just got back to training, so I'm really excited about that. I'm
Well,
really
you look
focused
like
on
you're in great shape.
not anywhere that I need to be, but
No.
I appreciate that. But you know, like I said, he's got it mapped out as what I need to be doing, which is amazing because it's again one of those things where I don't have to think about it. He does it, I do. So it works out perfect. But I'm definitely looking forward to the Dallas UFO. That's the one that right now I've got in my sights, and then definitely Dennis James.
Yeah. Any photo shoots coming up?
No, not yet, but yet
They're coming.
I believe at the end.
You have one coming up.
For Radical Magazine, correct?
Yep.
Yes, my bad. At the end of next month for Radical Magazine.
Okay. Great.
So I'm looking forward to that.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
And a Dallas trophy.
That's right, at the Europa. Hopefully I'll be there with Pro Steps. I know there was a lot of talk that I'm going to be there. So we'll see if I'm there. If I'm there,
Very nice.
you know, I'm going to be, screaming your number.
Very
And,
nice.
so hopefully,
Always appreciate it.
Definitely. Well, is there anybody you want to throw a shout out to besides Joe Valdez?
just everybody on the team. I mean, they've helped, you know, bring us together since we opened this place. The amazing support that we've had from everybody, and just everybody else in the community. They've really, really have been there to say, you know what, you can do this, and they always have nothing but good things to say, which has helped. And again, you know, I have to say the husband, because he got me where I'm at as far as with competing and everything. If
You'd have never done it if it wasn't for him,
it would have never happened.
Indirectly twisting your arm.
Exactly. I mean, and family, friends, definitely our kids. My son was a huge supporter for me when I first did it.
I can't believe you have a 20-year-old.
Most definitely.
That's crazy.
He was like, you know, Mom, go get him. He's like, you can definitely do this. And he's been to a couple of the shows, so have our daughter, and it's been really neat.
So on the competition front, I asked what it's like being a pro and being expected to look a certain way all the time. But when you're in your contest prep mode, at least for me, when it gets to about 4 weeks out is when everything kind of gets cranked up and it gets a little bit more difficult. And then as I get 2 weeks out, you know, it's the posing and it's, you know, the diet is getting to me still. I have no carbs. But I think the hardest part for me is not carving up, because I haven't had any carbs. That's easy. It's the water. I can't have any water. Is that something that you do in your contest? Are they keep you full of water?
He keeps me full. He does not deplete me.
I'm going to talk to Joe about contest prep, because I was only.
Yeah.
You have water? Plenty of water?
Yeah.
Muscles need water.
Yep.
I know. That's why I come in all flat all the time, right?
Muscles need
No,
water.
he doesn't deplete me, which is great. Thank goodness.
So what's the hardest part?
The hardest part is definitely my last 2 weeks. I get a little edgy. I can be a bit of a brat. So, and
I like how
try
she
not
says
to.
Words come
I
up a
like how
couple
she
times.
says the other B word. You know, I can be a brat. 'Cause that's what I call my wife when I want to call her the other name. You're being a brat.
So, and just, you know, I mean, he's amazing with dealing with me, because he's not only dealing with me, he's dealing with our competitors too.
Sure.
So it's definitely the last 2 weeks, because then I have to, you know, get really strict as far as like, usually about 3-4 weeks out at the most, I change to the fish, 2 weeks for sure. And I don't get, because I'm used to having my steak and, you know, more carbs and whatnot, and then he doesn't start carving me up until like a couple days before the show. So for that 2 weeks, I'm just kind of like,
Yeah.
give me something.
Right, right. He's like, I'll give you a strike up pose is what I'll give you right now,
Exactly.
right? So what I like to say, one thing that the response that I always want to get from a bikini competitor, or I should say any competitor, if I ever ask, you know, a bikini competitor at IFBB Pro, what's shaking? You better say nothing.
Exactly.
Right?
Oh yeah, that's the main focus. Nothing.
Right. Tracy Hall, who's an INFB, is that right? INFB?
IFB.
She's a pro with them, and I walked into the gym one day. I'm like, hey, what's shaking? She's like, hopefully nothing. And I always thought that was hilarious, so I wanted to say it on the show.
Oh, it's very true.
Tracy Hall, I give you the credit.
It's very true.
Good.
I'm always like, if it's moving, we need to fix it.
Right. That's
Yeah.
right. Right. Well, I really appreciate you coming on the show.
you so
I
much.
wanted you to do it a long time ago, but we never got around to it, so we're finally here. I want to get you back on the show after the Dallas Europa. We'll talk about that. And I want to thank you for co-hosting the show,
No
and thank
problem.
Joe for having us out.
Joe.
So it's Lisa Kelly. I got it right. TJ.
Yes.
Stephen
Fiore.
Fiore. Vincent VJ Hils on the V Bodybuilding Show. Thanks for watching, and thanks to ProSups, Six Pack Bags, My Oatmeal, Metroflex. Like it, favorite it, share it, tweet it. Thank you for watching.